Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It has been too long, I think 4 months maybe since my last video, and part of that is because I actually went to England for 2 months over the Christmas period, so from the end of November until about mid-January, and that was absolutely amazing. I might make a video on that at some point, but it was incredible. And I had every intention of making videos still while I was over there, but it just didn't come to pass, which is okay. And then I've been meaning to film this video for so long since getting home. I got home about a month ago, but I'm doing it today, and that's the main thing. So I'm actually going to be doing the Let's Go Deeper tag today, and I got this video idea from a girl here on YouTube named Kristen Loria, or her last name is actually now Johns. She's Kristen Johns, and because she just got married, and she's basically my favorite person ever, almost. I love her videos and just everything about her so much, and I think she's so incredibly inspiring and beautiful. So I will leave a link to her channel down below, because if you don't know her, then you really need to. But to give you a quick update on life before we jump into the actual video, it is good. I'm kind of still trying to figure out what to do next now that I'm back home from England. England was definitely my focus for pretty much the whole of last year, and now that I've been there and come back, I'm like, okay, what do I do next? So that is currently what I'm trying to figure out, but that's okay. It's a process and a journey, and it's totally fine to take your time. Something exciting that has happened recently though is that I bought a newer car, and it is such a blessing. It's just incredible how it all worked out, and I love it so much. It's just a cute little teeny tiny car, and it's got air conditioning, which my old car did not have, and that was my main priority, was getting a smaller car so that it would use less petrol and be less expensive to fill up, etc., and also that it would have air conditioning because it has been so hot here in Australia lately. So those two have been ticked off, and I got it, and I'm in love, and yeah, it's just really great. And I just feel happy and positive about life in general at the moment. I know that we all go through ups and downs, and I have moments where I'm good and moments where I'm not as good, but things are really, really good at the moment. And I've got all these little video ideas running around in my head actually, and one of them that I definitely want to do is just an update on what I've changed in my life lately, I guess, in order to make me feel better. So it's things like I've been doing a daily devotional every day, hence the word daily, and I started working out and that kind of stuff, which I didn't really do much before, but I'm really trying to be a lot more intentional, and I'm noticing such good changes so far. So I will probably do that in sometime in the near future if you guys are interested. But enough of me rambling on, it's time to get into this video. So I think Kristen made up this tag herself maybe, I'm not quite sure, but I think she did. So there are just a couple of questions that I'm going to run through. Yeah, and the whole point is just for you guys to get to know me a bit better, to go deeper, hence why she called it Let's Go Deeper tag. So let's do that, let's go deeper. So the first question is, where does your joy come from? And I'm a Christian, as I'm sure a lot of you maybe know or maybe don't. I don't know, I definitely want to make that a much more focal point of my channel, because there are so many people that I love to watch, like Kristen and Marcus. Oh, he doesn't really post that much, but Jess and Gabriel, you guys have probably heard of them. They're all such incredible people, and they're all Christians, which I think is the thing that I love about them the most, to be honest, because I can relate so much to them, and I just get so much inspiration in that sort of like in that aspect of it. But they are so open with their faith, and I just think it's incredible, and I find it so encouraging and inspiring, and you read through the comments and so do other people, so I definitely want to, you know, incorporate that into my channel a lot more as well. But for the actual question, where does your joy come from? Jesus would be my answer, which I think is how Kristen answered hers as well. But it's because it's true. I think that there are a lot of things that do bring me joy, things like a nice piece of cake or a cup of tea, beautiful flowers, but they're more just like little in the moment kind of joy. But in terms of true joy that's gonna hold up strong through the crazy winds and trials and that kind of thing, it has to be Jesus, because I think that everything else comes from him, and then he is that main source. It's like he's the main water tank, and then everything else just flows from that, I guess, maybe. The next question is, how do you feel most loved? And when I think about the way you feel love, I always think about the love languages, which is, I think there are 5 love languages: quality time, acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, and touch, or something like that. And whenever I think about how you feel and receive love, I always think back to those because they just define and explain things really well. So for me, I always feel most loved with words of affirmation. So when people speak life over me in the form of words, so encouraging and helpful and uplifting and lovely things, whenever people speak that, that's how I feel love. And also quality time. If you spend time with me, that's how I feel the most loved as well. So yeah, I think if people just invest into me, and also that's how I tend to give love as well. But things like a simple letter or an encouraging text or a nice comment on Instagram kind of thing, like even the simplest things like that, they just make me feel the most loved. What is something that you have overcome? This is so easy for me to answer. I thought it was going to be hard, but this question is so easy, and that is probably, now I'm like second guessing it. No, my anxiety. The reason I was hesitating is because it's not completely gone, but I think I've spoken about my anxiety on here before, and at one point, about this time last year actually, it was really, really bad. And it was this time last year that was the tipping point that then made me start seeing, like going to therapy and counsellor and that kind of thing. And then all through last year, I really worked on it. And going to England was basically the last big push that I needed to get me over the edge. And that is a huge thing that I overcame. The night before I left, the night before I left the country, I was so close to cancelling my whole trip because I was just absolutely terrified. I didn't think that I'd be able to do it, and then somehow I managed to push through that and get on the plane. And once I got off the plane in Dubai, because Dubai was my first stopover, the excitement kicked in, and ever since then my anxiety has been nowhere near as bad. And it wasn't just that one event that cured me or anything like that, because I was really working on it all through 2016. But then that was kind of a test almost, I guess, of me to put what I'd learned into practice, see, was I actually going to let the anxiety inside me stop me from doing something so incredible? And at the end of the day, no, I didn't let it stop me because I got on that plane. Yeah, and that was just a huge, huge thing that I overcame. And a quote that I kind of covered over England and covered over my trip, and it was actually a quote that was spoken over me. So my friend and her family, who I was staying with in England, who are the best people on the planet basically, they gave me a necklace at Christmas time, and engraved on it said, "She believed she could, so she did." And that's a quote that you've probably all heard, and I love it so much. And that was England for me. I believed I could, and so I did. And ever since then, like, I've got that written on a chalkboard in my bedroom so that I see it every single day, because it's just such an encouraging quote for me to remember that I did, and I believed I could, and then I did it. So yeah, that's definitely something that I've overcome recently. So the next one is, what is one of your biggest struggles/weaknesses? And this is hard because there's a lot that I struggle with, and there are a lot of things that would be my weakness. And I think probably the biggest thing that's kind of like a blanket term that then covers a lot of things is comparison, and feeling upset over the fact that I'm not either where I feel like I should be, or I'm not where somebody else is, and then that makes me feel like I'm behind. I'll look at other people who are in healthy, incredible relationships, getting married or whatever, and I think, oh, I'm not even in a relationship or have any interest in, like, nobody has any interest in me at the moment romantically, and so then I always feel like that reflects negatively on me. And yeah, that's definitely something that I struggle with the most. And then I just think, oh, why am I not where I feel like I should be? But I know that I just have to remind myself that God's got it, it's in His hands, it's in control, and his plan is so much greater than the one that I could devise for myself. And actually, so while this is a huge struggle and weakness of mine at the moment, it's also something that I'm working through. And this whole car situation, I feel like, has been such a good example in timing and waiting and things playing out how they're meant to. For example, I only started really looking to get a new car a couple of weeks ago, and I'd only been looking for a couple of weeks, and then I found one and now I've got one. So I don't know, that doesn't, it makes sense in my head, but it's hard to explain. But I think it was just, I felt like God was saying to me, look at how easy I brought this car into your life because things worked out and it was good timing and whatnot, and look how easy I can make things happen. I do listen to what you pray, I do listen to what upsets you. I can do things. If I'm not doing it right now, there's a reason why I'm not. And I think, yeah, that's just been a huge lesson that I've learnt lately. So that's still a struggle and weakness of mine, but I feel a bit more encouraged and inspired lately because of this whole car thing, that yeah, things will happen when they're meant to happen. And the last question is, what legacy do you want to leave? And I think that's such a hard question because people's legacy says so much about them, and I really want mine to be a good one. So I think I'd love to just be known as an incredibly godly, strong woman who was kind and compassionate and loving and caring, and who solely relied on God the whole time. Not just when things were easy, not just when she felt like it, but the whole time, because I just think that speaks so much about a person when you can just clearly look at their lives and see God as their legacy, I guess, because they just had so much faith and trust in him, and that's kind of the legacy that I'd want to leave. And I'd love to impart on my children one day and then grandchildren, just to be so trusting in God 100%, and then from that flows everything else. So then from that flows more love and more kindness and generosity and compassion, etc. So I think that's pretty much the legacy I'd want to leave. Okay, so that is it for today's video. I'm going to try and upload every week if I can, but I'm not going to lock myself in yet because we know that that never works in the past. But yeah, I think definitely expect more in the very near future from me. Yeah, leave any comments down below of anything that you would like to see. Thank you so much for giving up your time and watching this, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that it made you feel encouraged and inspired, and I can't wait to make more videos. So I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!